สวัสดีค่ะคุณผู้ชมค่ะขอต้อนรับคุณผู้ชมเข้าสู่รายการ Colourful Colouryo ค่ะกับโยธิกาจุลบลค่ะสวัสดีสำหรับวันแห่งท็อปวันศุกร์แบบนี้ค่ะแน่นอนนะคะในวันศุกร์แบบนี้โยจะต้องพูดถึงเรื่องราวระดับท็อปคนท็อปนะคะแล้ววันนี้ท็อปจริงๆค่ะเพราะว่าวันนี้นะคะโยมานี่เลยค่ะที่สถานทูตอเมริกันนะคะแผนกวัฒนธรรมค่ะแต่ว่าโยจะมาพูดถึงเรื่องราวอะไรต้องติดตามได้ในช่วงหน้าค่ะในช่วงของ Color News ค่ะช่วง Color Newsกลับเข้าสู่ช่วง Color News ค่ะตอนนี้นะคะโยนั่งอยู่กับนะคะแขกรับเชิญระดับท็อปจริงๆเลยค่ะคุณผู้ชมค่ะแต่ก่อนอื่นนะคะต้องขอตัวช่วยค่ะโยได้นะคะดร.กนิษฐานวรัตน์นะคะมาเป็นผู้ช่วยของโยในวันนี้นะคะขออนุญาตค่ะสวัสดีค่ะอาจารย์ค่ะมาเป็นล่ามให้โยหน่อยนะนะคะก่อนอื่นนะคะต้องแนะนำแต่ละท่านหน่อยดีกว่านะคะว่าแต่ละท่านเป็นใครมาจากไหนค่ะ
คนแรกที่อยากจะแนะนำก็คือคุณไมค์คอนเนอร์นะคะเป็นผู้ช่วยทูตวัฒนธรรมซึ่งเพิ่งมาใหม่นะคะ
สวัสดีค่ะ
สวัสดีครับ
คนต่อไปคุณโฮเซ่คาราโซนะคะเป็นผู้ประสานงานด้านกิจกรรมวัฒนธรรมของเราค่ะ
สวัสดีครับ
คุณผู้ชมคะจะเห็นได้ว่าจริงๆแล้วเนี่ยอย่างคุณโคเซ่นะคะหรืออาจารย์นะคะคุณหน้าคุณตากันแล้วนะคะเราเคยได้พบกันแล้วมาครั้งหนึ่งนะคะที่บ้านของท่านทูตนะคะวันนี้นะคะเป็นอีกครั้งหนึ่งนะคะที่โยจะได้มีโอกาสนะคะได้มาสัมภาษณ์นะเอ็กซ์คลูซีฟจริงๆค่ะเพราะว่าตอนนี้นะคะจริงๆแล้วเนี่ยมีภาพยนตร์นะคะเป็นภาพยนตร์สารคดีที่เรียกว่าได้รับรางวัลเนี่ยรู้สึกว่าจะได้รับรางวัลฟิล์มของเราอิตาลีฟิล์มเฟสติวัลด้วยใช่ไหมคะค่ะวันนี้นะคะเราก็จะมาพูดถึงภาพยนตร์เรื่องนี้ด้วยนะคะแต่ก่อนอื่นขออนุญาตถามก่อนนะคะว่าภาพยนตร์ที่จะนำมาฉายนะคะที่ตอนนี้บอกว่าจะเป็นโรดโชว์ด้วยใช่ไหมภาพยนตร์เรื่องอะไรค่ะ
So what documentaries are we showing during this road show?
Well, on the road show we have selected Make Believe, New Frontier, One Lucky Elephant, and Niger 66. So it's a great collection, a great slice of American life that these films are going to show Thai audiences.
เราได้คัดสรรสารคดีที่รับรางวัลมากมายนะคะโดยเฉพาะเรื่อง Make Believe นะซึ่งได้รางวัลมาแล้วแล้วก็มีเรื่องของ New Frontier นะคะแล้วก็จะมีอีกหลายเรื่องซึ่งสะท้อนให้เห็นความเป็นอยู่ชีวิตของคนอเมริกันค่ะ
ทำไมถึงได้คัดเลือกเหล่านี้แล้วดูแล้วตรงนี้มันน่าสนใจเหมาะกับประเทศไทยจริงๆหรือว่าเหมาะกับวัยรุ่นที่ได้ดูค่ะ
Why did we choose this particular films for Thailand?
Well, we chose them because again, they show a slice of American life, a different slice of American life to Thais. I forgot to add one. One is called When a Tree Falls. So we have a full range of environmentalism and coming of age stories. So there's something for everybody. We wanted to make sure that we put a film in there that has something for everyone. So if you're a small child and you're interested in music or in film or in magic, you can come enjoy Make Believe. If you're interested in environmentalism, you have New Frontier. You also have When a Tree Falls. So there's a little bit of everything for everyone.
สารคดีที่เราเลือกมาก็จะมีความหลากหลายในด้านหัวข้อนะคะไม่ว่าจะสิ่งแวดล้อมนะเช่นตัวอย่างหนังเรื่อง New Frontier จะเป็นเรื่องเกี่ยวกับสิ่งแวดล้อมนะคะส่วนเรื่อง Make Believe เป็นเรื่องเกี่ยวกับสำหรับเยาวชนก็เป็นการแข่งขันของนักมายากลเยาวชนนะคะเพราะฉะนั้นแต่ละหัวข้อก็สะท้อนถึงความชีวิตเป็นอยู่ของคนอเมริกันนะคะก็มีความหลากหลายมากด้านหัวข้อ
ค่ะและนอกจากนี้แล้วเห็นบอกว่าจริงๆแล้วเนี่ยมีมากกว่านั้นอีกนะคะมีทั้งหมดที่บอกว่านี่เลยภาพยนตร์สารคดีทั้งหมด13เรื่องนะคะอันนี้นี่เป็นอะไรคะ
What are the other films that are in the catalog?
Oh well, the Department of State gives funds to the University Film and Video Association to select about 35 to 40 films, and we selected 6. But there's a wide variety of films, ranging to some personal narratives, personal stories, ranging from democracy. There's one called. In the past, we featured films about high school elections, about democracy, environmentalism. So it's basically we pick on universal themes that we can have a dialogue with our friends across the country, around the world.
ค่ะแล้วนอกจากนั้นแล้วเนี่ยค่ะยังจะมีอย่างอื่นอีกไหมคะที่สำหรับที่จะเป็นวัฒนธรรมแลกเปลี่ยนในปีนี้ค่ะที่จะมีจัดขึ้นในส่วนของสถานทูตอเมริกันค่ะ
Any other cultural programs we have this year?
Sure, we have a variety of programs that we have throughout the year, ranging from programs like this about films, to we have support for other cultural activities in Thailand, dance. We have a variety of speakers who come to Thailand to give their points of view on various issues. So we have a variety of programs throughout the year which we hope to, which we bring to Thailand in order to increase sort of mutual understanding and improve the good relation between our two countries.
ก็คือเพื่อกระชับความสัมพันธ์ที่ดีของไทยสหรัฐเนี่ยเราก็มีโครงการวัฒนธรรมหลายอันด้วยกันนะคะนอกจากภาพยนตร์นี้แล้วก็จะมีเรื่องของการแสดงดนตรีนะคะแล้วก็จะมีเรื่องของการนำผู้เชี่ยวชาญมาบรรยายในหัวข้อต่างๆค่ะซึ่งจะจัดทั้งปีค่ะ
แล้ววันนี้นะคะเห็นบอกว่าจะมีนะคะถึง2ท่านนะคะที่เราจะได้มีโอกาสได้สัมภาษณ์ใช่ไหมคะแขกพิเศษค่ะแขกพิเศษใครคะ
Who are the two guests we have today?
You know, we are very lucky that on the American Documentary Showcase, we have Stephen Klein, who is one of the directors of Make Believe, who is not only a talented filmmaker, but a talented magician. We also are very lucky to have Melinda Lavin, who is a professor of documentary film and also a filmmaker herself. And she brought along her film New Frontier, which she will also be screening. So we're very lucky to have these two dynamic people with us on the showcase.
ก็เราโชคดีมากนะคะที่เราได้ผู้กำกับภาพยนตร์ที่ดังมากและมีความสามารถมากนะคะคนแรกคือคุณสตีเฟน คลายน์นะคะซึ่งเป็นผู้อำนวยการสร้างภาพยนตร์เรื่อง Make Believe นะคะนอกจากนั้นแล้วก็ได้อาจารย์นะคะซึ่งสอนทางด้านภาพยนตร์วิชาภาพยนตร์คุณเมลินดา เลเวนจากมหาวิทยาลัยเท็กซัสนะคะเขาก็ได้สร้างสารคดีเรื่อง New Frontier ซึ่งเป็นเรื่องเกี่ยวกับสิ่งแวดล้อมค่ะ
นะคะแต่ว่าทำไมคะคุณผู้ชมคะดังไม่ดังขนาดไหนเรียกว่าโยพูดกับเพื่อนๆที่อเมริกานะคะเขาบอกว่าโอ้โหจะได้สัมภาษณ์คนนี้เหรอและที่สำคัญนะคะทั้งสองท่านมีประวัติที่น่าสนใจแต่จะเป็นยังไงนะคะต้องติดตามได้ในช่วงหน้าค่ะในช่วงของ Color Talk ค่ะ
It's important that no country, no nation has a single story, a singular story, right? And so a lot of times for people, when they think of America, they think, oh, Hollywood, everybody's rich, everybody, you know, but obviously that's not the case. Obviously there's so many stories in America that aren't necessarily getting out to a global audience. So I think part of the aim is to expose other people, other cultures around the world to a different America, to an America that they might not always see.
The aim of the American Documentary Showcase is to explain to people in countries overseas the nature of freedom of expression that documentarians can have in a democracy like the United States.
The films are not selected by the State Department. The films are selected by UFVA and a series of panels.
They are categorized by subject use.
Civil society, free market economy, good governance, environmental protection, human rights, women's empowerment, marginalizing extremism, Muslim outreach, counterterrorism.
Oftentimes throughout the screenings you'll see, you could do that in America, they let you do this. And I think when people understand what we can do, who we are in a deeper way, a lot of hatred, whether it's through race or through religion, whatever it is that you hate people, when you know them well, it's kind of hard to hate them.
The most lively discussion was after a film called Flow about the water crisis. And what was interesting about that film is while the filmmakers went around the world, the one place they didn't go to that's not in the film is the Middle East, where it was really kind of the epicenter of the water crisis.
More than 2 million people die every year from waterborne diseases. Most of them are children below 5 years of age.
We have wars going on in the world because of pricing of oil. And if we take the same path with water, that's oil all over again.
People will do anything. They'll give anything, their life savings, their house, anything for water.
We screened the film for the ambassador to Thailand, and in the room was a man who was a member of the UN staff for water resources, and he said that there was a conference a day later with representatives of all of the countries engaged in water resources for Southeast Asia, just happened to be in Bangkok at the time, would I be willing to let them see the film? I spent a good deal of time during this screening telling these water ambassadors from the UN that this wasn't necessarily U.S. policy, but they should see the film. To a person in the room, they were very, very impressed that the U.S. was willing to allow a film like this to be shown to such an organization under the auspices of, the State Department. And there was a lot of education that happened in that room.
Sometimes you will get people who will challenge you and say, like, well, I'm sure you're here because the American government thinks you're going to bring democracy to our country.
We had to work to assure audiences in those countries that these films were not produced by the government.
Everywhere we went, people were so tripped out by the fact that I was a professor. Like, they would tell me that they expected, a guy, a different look, right? There was definitely a surprise, but also a deep embrace and a deep inspiration that I think I was able to provide just by being who I am. And then my name's Asante, right? So Asante in Swahili, which is the main language in Kenya, Asante means thank you. So everywhere I went, I would be hearing my name and I'd be like turning around and, but people were just saying thanks.
Pebble Mine is a huge project, but it's not just on any river. It's the headwaters of the Kwijak and the Nishigak, which are two of the most productive salmon rivers on the planet. Wildfish are important because they're beautiful. It's a beautiful species and they're a miracle of nature. But they're important because they're also the food source for everything from bears to caddisflies to eagles to killer whales.
Of the thousands of mines in the world, problems with open pit mines are the exception, not the rule. And that's a fact.
The Empire State Building would not reach halfway up to the depth of the pit. And by the year 2018, this mine will be about 900 feet deeper. Known as the richest hole on Earth, since 1906, this mine has yielded more than 17.5 million tons of copper metal.
Numerous times we got questions saying, like, where are you? This happened in America? It's a very different culture than what people are traditionally exposed to when they think of American culture. And so we got a lot of questions saying, well, who are these people and where do they live and where actually are you? And I didn't even think that I would have to go through kind of even the geography of, let's look at Alaska in comparison to the rest of America.
We showed Street Fight about the two politicians, and they couldn't believe that two black politicians could fight each other. They would expect a black and a white politician, but you mean that blacks think that one black is not black enough to be mayor?
Fellas, how y'all doing?
Cory Booker is a 32-year-old first-term city councilman, running for mayor of Newark, New Jersey's largest city.
I'm coming after you.
He's hoping to unseat the longtime incumbent, Sharp James.
So I can't believe you used to live in a house where you keep the door open, and now you're in a building where you're not even It's outrageous. Yeah.
There's an old joke in Newark that the only way an incumbent ever leaves office is death or conviction. But Cory thinks he's found another way.
I have a philosophy of campaigning, which is I walk every street that I want to represent.
I've never heard Sharp James speak before, but once he takes the stage, it becomes obvious why he's never lost an election.
Sharp James is the real deal. Sharp James is the real deal.
Newark is not for sale. Booker can't buy this. Not for sale.
Newark is not for sale. Newark is not for sale.
Well, Sharp has this amazing ability to tell a lie so many times that people believe that this is the truth.
But it's not just a matter of how much money there is. It's also where it comes from. An anonymous flyer goes out, accusing Cory of conspiring with Jews to take over the city.
The extreme group, far white, right-wing Republican Party who is supporting him.
You may ground me down in the very dirt, but like dust, still I rise.
With Street Fight, those issues really resonated with a lot of different communities that we went to in Israel. One woman said that there was conflicts within the various Jewish communities about identity. In Taipei, which is prominently Arab Israelis, they recognize the kind of dirty politics.
The person that I traveled with was also a female, so we were basically a female delegation, and we had someone come up to us at a screening in Burma and say, when I heard there were going to be 2 American filmmakers here, I thought I was going to meet 2 Anglo-American males.
I guess the most surprising thing that happened was in Myanmar, where there were some people who were introduced as retired government officials who came to a screening and were very reserved at first and like, you know, okay, bring on your propaganda. And by the end of the screening, which was of a film called America's Lost Landscape, The Tall Grass Prairie, they were really warm and said, we want to keep in touch. They shook hands, had pictures taken with us.
It's a place that I think could best be described as a sacred place. It's a place that is a very rare thing. It's like a thread of a fabric that was once covered the entire landscape of Iowa and beyond. And so it's a very, very special and rare place.
It's very important for people who live in countries where the media is state-controlled and where there's a degree of censorship to have the opportunity to interact with documentary filmmakers and see a view of America that they most likely have never seen before.
Then actually that led a few weeks later, after we returned from the showcase, to a request from the Myanmar Ministry of Information to the American Embassy there to get PBS films for broadcast on state TV.
I'm working right now with the U.S. Embassy and with the State Department on a workshop to return to Burma in August.
Our aim was reached admirably in ways I could never have expected.
This program is very important for the people we see and for ourselves going there. There's an America that the people see in films from Hollywood, or they get little bits of news from on the newscasts in those countries. But the world is a very complex and rather difficult place to live in. And God knows this world needs a greater joining of people, not from propaganda and not from cheap ads, but from the experience of being in each other's country.
Hobart Elementary School is a regular public school right in the center of Los Angeles. It has close to 2,300 children, which makes it one of the larger elementary schools in the United States.
What do you read, my lord? Words. 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 What is the matter, my lord? Between who? I mean the matter that you read, my lord.
Slander, sir. The satirical rogue says here that old men have gray beards, that their faces are wrinkled, and that they have plentiful lack of wit.
The best thing about the Hobart Shakespeareans is that they know what they're saying, you know?
We work very hard.
I know you work hard, and you understand every single word, and that couldn't be said of all actors who do Shakespeare.
This will always be a good memory for you, but it's one of many great memories to come. The readiness is all.
The State Department choosing independent filmmakers, a group of people that doesn't often get opportunities like this, to go out and do something for our country. We live and exist on the fringes, and sometimes our work gets on PBS or HBO if we're lucky, and sometimes we get paid. But we're not like in service to America. But what this is equally as important as being in the Army. This is a way for us to do something to help with peace, and isn't that a good thing?
I can't express really how important this showcase is to creating a sense of community among independent American documentarians and linking them with their own personal visions to audiences and other filmmakers around the world. It is, for me, a dream come true, and I think something that will have ramifications a long way down the road.